at all what people think. Of course you do. There's psuk in the Torah, Yiseh B'kim, you have to be careful what people think of you. Ultimately, if you were comfortable with who you are, if you're comfortable with the way that you act and what you're doing in life and your purpose and mission in this world, it wouldn't bother you if somebody is looking at you in this way or that way. And that person, including, is your wife as well. And therefore, we unfortunately live in a world where we're worried what people think of us, what people say. Why? Because we have a low opinion of ourselves. The moment we have a low opinion of ourselves, we cannot build a relationship. We cannot open ourselves up. We cannot allow anybody in. And that is the beginning of a non-existent relationship in a marriage, which is a disaster. One of the greatest examples, again, I'm not saying any chidushin, these are dvarim pshutim ad ma'od, but things just to point out, was obviously from the Meraglim. The Meraglim, we know, came to spy out Yisrael. They came back and they reported back and they said what we saw was terrible. They cried. The Rabban Shem said, well, you cried now. We're going to make a year, every single year for it's going to be crying. That was Tisha B'Av, of course, and the Beis HaMikdash was destroyed. Now, what did they say? They said that we saw fortified cities, they saw strong people, it's too much for us, right? And then they said, right, the Medrash confirmed that this is true. They saw giants over there, and we were like grasshoppers in their eyes, right? How did they know that they were grasshoppers in their eyes? How do you know how somebody else is perceiving you? That's the question that the Heilige Kotzka asks. And he says like this, if you look at the words, Bamidbar Yud Gimel Lamed Gimel, in our eyes, we were grasshoppers, and therefore in their eyes, we also were grasshoppers. In the way you look at yourself, in the way you perceive yourself, is the way that other people will also perceive you. If a person knows to look at himself from a place of strength, if a person knows and understands, yes, I may fall, yes, I may have my weaknesses, but I also have my strengths, and the Rabban Shem created me in this way because that's my mission. I don't care what someone thinks of me. I don't care what someone says about me. Yes, of course, there's a level to that. There's obviously a borderline. We do have to care to some degree. But if we would work on this understanding that we are intrinsically good, we are gewaldig, our neshama is a chelik elokam mimal, it's mamish a chelik, a piece of the kisei hakovod, then we realize that if we fall and we have negative situations, okay, but that doesn't make us any worse. And therefore, once we become comfortable with ourselves, once we realize who we are, really who we are, and we're proud of who we are, and we're comfortable with who we are, we can then move to the next stage. And the next stage after that is to open ourselves up, to allow somebody else, namely our wife, in, to allow the relationship to blossom. Mitzvah Shem, next week we'll start with a brand new sugya.